Hi, welcome. Simon here. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be doing a screen replacement from start to an end on a MacBook Pro. As you can see that the screen is cracked. I have pixelated lines running across the screen. There was an impact point right here at the bottom, right in the center, and there goes my screen. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do is to go ahead and turn off the computer. You can press and hold the power button until the screen shuts off. Go ahead and remove any charging cables. Let's identify the model here. If you're not sure what the model of your laptop, take a look at the back of your computer. You should be able to see it. It says model A2251. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First, you need to use a Pentalope P5 screwdriver. This is a 5-point screwdriver. Go ahead and remove the 2 screws. The top screws are much longer compared to the bottom screws. What I recommend you to do is probably take a picture of it. Print out that piece of paper, that picture in a piece of paper. As you remove the screws, you might want to put the screws on top of the paper to kind of give you a reference where the screws should go. Okay. So the next step is to go ahead and remove the back cover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingernail underneath that little gap. And that should be able to give you enough room to hold the back cover, and you want to pop open that connector here. So there's a clipper right here on the side, and you hear that little click. Do the same on the other side, right here in the center. Okay, so that should pop that clipper open. When the clipper is open, at this point, you want to hold on to the back cover like such, holding it down. Hold on to that, and you want to slide this back cover towards your body, slide it down to open up that little gap. Okay, and you want to do the same. So holding the back cover here, I'm going to do what I call like push and pull. I'll be using my thumb, pushing the computer away and pulling the back cover towards my body. The reason why you want to do that is because here is where you slide into, all right? So that thing is slide into the computer. The whole point is to slide it outwards. Okay, so once you have done with the process, you pretty much see the entire full internal part of your computer. At this point here, you want to take a look at the CPU fan. If it's dirty, you want to go ahead and dust it off, clean it off. You can get the Akan duster, a little brand new toothbrush, and go brush off those dirt. Okay, so before you continue with that, if you're not sure where to buy the tools that I'll be using today and the replacement screen, I'll link it down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out. I will direct you to either Amazon or eBay, where you can buy the tools and this replacement screen directly from them. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is disconnect this cable here. I'm going to peel that little plastic to the back, and I'll be getting the plastic prying tool. I want to flip open that little clipper. So there is a clipper right here, the black little clipper. You need to flip it open, and you can slide that cable to your right to remove it. Okay, so that is the piece of the cable, and go ahead and use a T5. This is the Torx T5. Remove that screw, and we just disconnected the battery. That's the first thing we need to do. Next, I'll be using a T3. This is a Torx T3, a screwdriver that we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws here at the bottom bar. Just a reference, as you remove the screws, I recommend you to position them in a way that you will remember how to put it back together, because the screws are not the same. They're all different sizes, and you do not want to mix match the screw. You end up having trouble putting them back together after. So the best way, maybe you want to take a picture of it, print out the piece of paper. As you remove that screw, place that screw on top of the paper as a reference, and you know where to put them back after. All right, continue. I'll be removing 2 more screws here at the bottom. All right, once you're done with that, now we're going to move on to the next part, which is the hinge on the top left corner. Using the same T3, remove the 2 screws. Remove the plastic cover and come back here. I'll do the same on the other side of the computer. The very far top right, remove the 2 screws and remove the piece of plastic. Once you're done with that process, the next step is to go ahead and do the same using a T3, these 2 screws here, to remove this metal bracket. And that metal bracket is holding down the video connector directly to the LCD screen board. So this video LCD connector is like a Lego. They kind of clip onto the screen LCD board. So you just have to use a plastic prying tool, pry it open. All right, you are done with all that part. The next step is to go ahead and get a T5, a Torx T5. We'll be removing 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. This major 4 screw is to hold down the LCD board. Once you have removed the 4 screws, your LCD board, it should be free and come loose like such. All right, the next step, get a T5. We're going to remove this Wi-Fi screw. This Wi-Fi screw here is hidden right underneath that Wi-Fi cable. And I'm using a prying tool to pry open that Wi-Fi cable. Remove that Wi-Fi screw. Excuse me. So the Wi-Fi cable is a circle shape, a round shape. All right. So it's circle right at the base on the motherboard. That is the motherboard connector on the circle side. And then the connector goes on top of it. To remove it, you just have to lift it straight up. All right, once you're done with that process, the next step is to go ahead and get yourself a Pentalope P2. This is a 0.8, a 5-pointer 0.8 shape, okay, to remove the Wi-Fi antenna screw. 2, 4, 6, there are 6 of them on one side and the other 6 on the other side. So altogether, a total of 12. Take your time, make sure you have the right tools again, because the screw can be really difficult to remove, and sometimes you will strip off that screw. So take your time, do not rush it. Make sure you have a good grip when you're entering that screwdriver, and then when you turn, making sure that the screwdriver is standing straight up. There are people to tilt the screwdriver at certain point where the pressure point is off, therefore it will strip the screw. Well, if the screw is stripped, do not worry. I did make a video on how to remove a stripped screw, especially using this Wi-Fi example. All right, so go ahead, go to my channel, search for strip screw removal. You should be able to find and how to remove the strip screw on a Wi-Fi antenna here. All right, so that is all said and done. Now the Wi-Fi cable is loose. The Wi-Fi antenna is ready to be removed. What I like to do is just wiggle a little, right in the middle, center. As you remove away from your body, going that direction, you want to pay attention to the Wi-Fi cable here, making sure they're not get pinched down or get broken. Okay, so the Wi-Fi antenna is removed. Put it on the side. The next step is to get a T8 screwdriver. This T8 is to remove the 3 screws holding down the LCD screen. Once you have removed the 3 screws on one side, go ahead and remove the other 3 on the right side. Okay, once you have removed all 6 of the screws, let's go ahead and open up the screen. So at this point, I'm going to flip the screen open all the way to the back, and I'm going to have the hinge slide off the base on the laptop. So have that thing slide off, and same on the other side, slide it off, and the entire screen will just come right off. Okay, so that is the broken screen. Let's put it on the side here, and here comes the replacement screen. What you need to do is to make sure the hinge is pushed all the way back on both sides, left and right. While you're installing the screen, making sure that the screen LCD board, okay, making sure that the screen LCD board is sitting on top of the laptop, including this 2 flex cable. Okay, so make sure all the cables sits on top of the laptop. Now the hinge is open. You're going to slide that hinge, the screen hinge, on top of the laptop. While the thing is in a position like such, get one of the screw and close it down. It is easier to work with the screen shut, so we just put 1 screw here for now, holding down the hinge. On the same on the other side, and we can close the screen. Okay, we can close the screen and continue working on the LCD. All right, double check, make sure the LCD cable, that the LCD board is sitting on top, the flex cable is sitting on top of the laptop. Finish up the 2 screws, tighten up, holding down the LCD screen. Okay, so when that is all done, what we want to do is to position the Wi-Fi antenna. We're going to stick it back in. What I like to do is to kind of make that cable all straight as we're going to push it in. There's a gap, there's a hole right here where you need to push it through for the Wi-Fi antenna, and then kind of go underneath the heatsink. So let's go ahead and give that a try. You got to be patient, got to wiggle. As you can see, it's coming out on this side. I like to use a prying tool to give a little support. You got to go on top of the motherboard, Okay, so give it a little support while you're pushing it on the other side. So it's kind of take a couple of try. It's not that easy. The cable is just not strong, so it always tend to face downwards. And this rubber here is not helping either. So just go back and forth until you get all that cable sitting on top of the motherboard. I'm using a tweezer to pick it up. And last but not least, all the three cables are up, but you also need to have this metal piece to go on top of the motherboard. So all four of them have to come on top of it. All right. So just so you know, I'm very gentle when I'm working with that. Because this is metal, there might be a chance that there will be a damage on the motherboard. So when you try to pick it up, try not to touch the motherboard. I'm just touching the connector itself. All right, so once that is done, making sure it's in a position like such. Okay, then we're gonna have the LCD board sits on top of the Wi-Fi antenna. Using a T5, and I'm going to put the screw back in. I wonder why they do not want to go in. Did I use the wrong screw? Yep, it's the right one. Okay, finally it's in. First, second, apologize on that little small hiccup I got. That is a third screw and the fourth screw. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding down the LCD board. Okay, this is the LCD board and the Wi-Fi antenna all at the same time. At this point here, right here, you want to flip and tuck it in. Okay, so just flip and tuck it in. So like kind of go in and then tuck it back in. Try again, flip it back and then tuck it in like such. It's going to be using a T3. At this point, you want to reconnect that cable. Do not force it in. It's just like Lego. Once you position in the right way, you can just gently push it in and it will snap right back in. Do not force in all cable connections. Once that is all done, you're gonna have the bracket to go back here and the 2 tiny screw back on top the bracket, close it down, holding and secure that cable. And this bracket here is to hold down and secure the connector. Once we're done with this process, go ahead and slide this plastic back in and have the 2 tiny screw holding down the plastic that would secure the hinge on the screen. And do the same here on this side. Go ahead and put the plastic back in. Have the 2 screws to secure the hinge on the left side of the screen. Alright, at this point, get your T5. We're going to put the Wi-Fi screw back, fasten that metal bracket here. Okay. And go ahead and put the Wi-Fi connector back together. So all you have to do is position that circle sitting on top of the Wi-Fi. Just have to take your time to position it. Do not force it in. Like I'm having difficulty here on the very first one. Because the connector cannot be forced, it's a circle, it should go right on top of it without any pressure, because you do not want to bend the connector, and by bending the connector there would be a big problem. Okay, once that is all done, remember the tiny screw here for all the Wi-Fi antenna. Go ahead and put it back together. If you miss 1 or 2, 3 or 4, doesn't really matter. In fact, I don't think you need that many of the screw to hold the Wi-Fi antenna. But because it's too tiny, I'm sure sometimes the screw just fly and you can't find it. It's not a big deal. It won't damage the computer. So just be patient, take your time and put the screw back one at a time. If you follow the instructions so far and doing well, you're almost done. All I'm asking is please go ahead and smash the like button for me. I really appreciate you for doing that. And if you have any question, comment down below. All right, I do read your comment and I will answer all of your questions. So comment down below and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if this video is helpful to you. Okay, I really appreciate you for doing that. Okay, final screw. That should be it. All right, so the next step is to have this screw going back to the battery connector and making sure that the clipper is still open, and you want to slide this flex cable to your left, so slide it into the connector like such. Okay, and then you can use that little tape to pull, give it a gentle pull to the left to tuck it all the way in. Okay, make sure you reach all the way to the back and then close that little clipper. The clipper must be closed to secure, and then tip it down. All right, so the next step is to go ahead and install the back cover. What you want to do is you want to slide it in, okay, both sides at the same time. So position your back cover, so slide it in and then press it here in the middle to have the clipper to clip it back in. I have the 2 screws on the very top and 4 screws at the bottom. I'm going to turn on the computer at the very end to make sure things are all working and have a good display. If this video is helpful to you and you would like to support my work and my channel, please click on YouTube Super Thanks. YouTube Super Thanks allow you to share your gratitude so that you appreciate the work that I do. And if this video is helpful, save you a lot of money. If you want to share donation, please click on YouTube Super Thanks, or you can do it using PayPal. Since you stay all the way at the end of the video, the important thing is to plug in the charger for the very first time, because we remove and disconnect the battery for such a long period of time, the computer just kind of like blank out. So you do need to have the charger to plug it back in to give it a little boost to have the screen to power on. All right, so let's go ahead and see if everything works. I do see the Apple screen. Let me go ahead and cover up here, making sure that the customer picture is not displayed or anything like that. Okay, I still see the Apple logo. What is happening right now? It's loading up. As you can see, the bar is loading up. So it boots to a recovery page. As you can see right now, it's recovery page. It says language. I'm going to select English. What happened is that probably the reset password is asking me to reset because it wasn't shut down properly for many times. So examine the volume. I'm just going to press restart. Okay. There you go, the Apple logo comes back on. Cover up the screen. I have a full display without any problem. Earlier I have lines running across, but now everything is good. So if you find this video is helpful, please smash the like button for me. And again, if you want to show appreciation, support my work, please do not forget to click on YouTube Super Thanks or PayPal. Thanks for watching. I wish you all the best in your repair. Until next time, bye now.